In 1967, a corner of Africa seceded from one of the world's largest black nations. Egged on by foreign powers, armed with fierce determination and sustained briefly by oil and sympathy, it declared itself free. But 3 years later, its dream was drowned in blood, famine, and silence. This was Biafra. Welcome to the Library of Lost Lands, where we explore the rise and fall of countries that once were, but no longer exist. The Republic of Biafra existed from May 30th, 1967 to January 15th, 1970, carved from the southeastern region of Nigeria during the country's brutal civil war. Its capital was Enugu, and at its height it held a population of roughly 14 million people, most of them Igbo. The Republic's people spoke Igbo as their dominant language, though English was retained as the official tongue, and Christianity, both Catholic and Protestant, formed the backbone of its religious life. Biafra's land was fertile and productive, but its greatest wealth lay in the oil-rich Niger Delta, which became both its lifeline and its curse. Nigeria gained independence from Britain in 1960, a vast, fragile union of more than 60 million people and hundreds of ethnic groups. Its northern Hausa Fulani Muslim majority, western Yoruba and eastern Igbo Christians were thrust together in one state. The Igbo, proud, industrious, and disproportionately represented in the officer corps and civil service, quickly became targets. Following a coup in 1966, massacres of Igbos erupted across northern Nigeria. An estimated 30,000 Igbo civilians were killed, and over 1 million fled back to the east. In this atmosphere of fear and bitterness, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the military governor of eastern Nigeria, declared secession. On the 30th of May 1967, the Republic of Biafra was born. For the Igbos, Biafra was not just a refuge, it was a statement of dignity and survival. At first, the Biafrans organized with astonishing resolve. They printed currency, ran radio stations, and manufactured weapons. Supporters abroad likened Biafra to Israel, a small, embattled nation fighting for survival against overwhelming odds. France, Portugal, and even South Africa whispered their sympathy. And missionaries broadcast Biafra's plight to the world. But Nigeria was vast, and its federal government would not tolerate dismemberment. With British and Soviet weapons and tacit American backing, Lagos unleashed a war machine. The Biafran army fought fiercely, but blockade strangled the landlocked state. Oil, its lifeline, was cut off. By 1968, famine swept Biafra. Photographs of starving skeletal children with distended bellies horrified the world and galvanized relief efforts. Yet for many Nigerians, this suffering was seen as the cost of keeping the Union whole. The war dragged on for 30 brutal months. By 1970, Biafra was reduced to a shell of its former territory, its people exhausted. On January 15, 1970, Biafra formally surrendered. Colonel Ojukwu fled into exile, leaving his deputy to negotiate the end. The Nigerian government declared a policy of no victor, no vanquished. Yet beneath the rhetoric, bitterness lingered. 1 to 2 million Biafrans are believed to have died, not just in battle but through famine and disease. Many Igbos were reintegrated, but suspicion and marginalization followed them for decades. Biafra exists now only in memory and in protest flags. A diaspora of Igbos keeps the idea alive online and in politics, with occasional secessionist movements still stirring in southeastern Nigeria. The word Biafra remains a rallying cry, half dream, half warning. Biafra was a state born from massacre, starved into surrender, and buried under the silence of national unity. Yet its ghost still haunts Nigeria. So we ask you, was Biafra the desperate cry of a people betrayed, or the tragic cost of holding a fragile nation together?